Guys, thank you for coming on the show. This is actually a really awesome highlight for me. We've been playing cricket for a while, and that's why. But the reason I've got you on is you're a specialist in video production, specifically for corporates and events. But that's my sum up of you. But Michael, Louis, for the audience that don't know you, tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. I'm Michael. We've been doing our videography business for about 2 years now, and sort of stemmed from
up around 3.
3, is it?
3?
Yeah, okay. Well, there you go.
Well, guys, if it's 3, you've hit the mark. 90% of businesses fail after 3 years. So if you've got 3, you're
you're
going
going to get through the next month then.
Yeah.
So we started 3 years ago,
Perfect.
I suppose, and that stemmed from a passion for videography from a young age. The videos we did when we were younger were a bit different. They were more funny, stupid, pointless kind of YouTube style videos. And then, one day we thought, why not try and make a career out of it? And here we are 3 years later.
Amazing. You said you're making videos there when you're young. Did you ever try and get on Funny Stone videos or anything like that?
Well, we actually had
You say that actually, Benny. Yeah.
we had a few videos. I think there was one of us two playing cricket in the backyard, and we hit a ball at my dad's head, and he had a fairly frosty reaction to that, and that's sort of got a few hits, and actually played on MTV's show Ridiculousness.
Did it?
Yeah. So we can officially say we made it now, but we have had a few of those sort of videos, and I think we had a few other ones go viral as well. I think Dad appeared on the project as well for the same video, so it's.
I think it's obvious that it's not us. I think it's your old man.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So.
You should spread that on your socials. It'll go viral.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Not a bad idea. And Louis, yourself, so similar. You just had the passion.
Just always loved filming, making videos. I remember with the first GoPros, when they came out, I would have been year 10, 11. I had a mate who was a few years above me at school. He bought a camera, and just seeing his content, and obviously the time was quite new, so it sort of grabbed my eye. And obviously us filming since we were kids. I remember primary school, I actually didn't like Michael that much.
He's got a polarizing
Definitely
personality
confirm that.
sometimes.
But as the years went on, and I was like living in the next street, sort of we all kept bumping heads. But I did love filming from a young age, making content. Bought a GoPro in year 10, year 11. And through that, every time I was away on holiday, or during the year 12, sort of right towards the end of the year, the GoPro did come out a fair bit with schoolies and whatnot too. So just always loved it, and with Michael, had that same passion as well. So
And I'm just interested, what brought you guys together? Because you both got that passion and gone through uni or whatever it is, and you could have very easily just gone and found yourself a corporate job doing filming. But what do you think brought you guys together and gone, yep, we're gonna give this a go?
I think, as I said before, we live in the next street, right up the next street from Michael. So we played sport from a young age in the same teams together. We went to the same primary school. I think, just having that sort of that bond from a young age, and like that foundation as well, has allowed us to sort of build a business on top of that. So,
Yeah, cool. And let's talk about the business. Look, obviously people watching this along will notice that the production level of this podcast has increased by 1,000%. We've got...
Don't sell yourself short, Beatty. Come on, mate.
We've got a number of cameras. It was funny, the last show that I put out with Jake Harris, we were talking about I would love more cameras over here and get someone in to come and do this stuff. And we're talking about, look, don't sell yourself short. Like, it all grows. But, this is your skill set, and this is what you guys are good at. In your opinion, over the 3 years that you've been doing this, very broad question, it's going to be hard. What do you think makes a good and engaging video in your sense?
Well, it's a good question. I mean, I suppose it depends on what you're filming as well.
Completely.
I think a lot of the videos we do now are corporate interview style videos, and the most important thing is to have the talent to be relaxed and comfortable and not feel the pressure. So I think Louis and I, one of our points of difference is we try and establish good relationships with our clients, try and make them comfortable, and also that if they're not answering the question right, that they can go again and not feel threatened or feel like they can have as many takes as they want, and to try and get the most natural answers. I suppose for that type of video, that would be the most important thing. Louis, do you have anything to add to that?
I said, Michael said, sorry. I think the most important thing is just with each video, it does vary depending on what the output is. So what they want done with it in terms of lighting, audio, setups, cameras. So it does vary. So I think one important thing as well, just do research before you go to the job. You have to sort of know where you're filming, if you're filming outside, inside, is it raining, is it not raining? Just so when we rock up, when we arrive at the job, we're well prepared, have the right equipment, have everything we need to do the job. So the client isn't as stressed as it might look like we are behind the cameras, even though we're very cool cucumbers. But just being well, prepped before going into the job is also very important. So.
Yeah, I think managing that client's expectation, because some people, as soon as you put lights in front of them, you put cameras in front of them. I mean, I've done a lot of content work for some businesses where I've just, all right, here's the camera, and say what you have to say, and then they get nervous.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're saying. They fumble around their words. And to touch back on that fact of, telling them, look, you can have a couple takes, but what I've found with the podcast format is we chuck cameras over here and we just forget about it and have a chat.
Yeah.
So how do you incorporate that when it's more of you do need that formal scripted setting? I guess you touched on it, but maybe,
Yeah, I mean, I do this podcast, it's one take sort of thing. So, but having the cameras away can sort of allow you to sort of relax more and chat.
Yeah.
With our videos, as Michael said, we tell them that they can have as many takes as they want. So just to not feel as if, even though the camera is more sort of in and you can sort of see it, in the background, whatever, just to feel relaxed, feel calm. We're interviewing you for a reason. You know what you're talking about as well. So just think that there's nothing behind. There's no lighting, there's no audio, there's no cameras. We're asking you questions and, do what you need to do.
And I think that's, you said, it's one of the things that makes you guys different, because everyone's had that experience, even at school, the school photographer that comes in and they're just like a drill sergeant.
Yeah.
Or let's even talk weddings. Like I've been to weddings and I've watched the wedding party take photos and the photographer's not engaging with them. They're not, they're just going, go over there, go over there, go over there. So when you guys do an event like that, what you almost have fun. You just have fun with the people, and that's part of the day.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think with, especially something like a wedding or it's their special day, you want to, again, just make them feel relaxed. And I have been at weddings where the photographers have been overbearing and quite demanding in what they want, because they want to get a result and they want a certain image. But you've also got to remember that you're trying to, it's the person's special day, so you want to make it as special as possible for them. And if you're too intrusive, then that can certainly create a bad experience, which is something you don't want. So I think again, establishing a good relationship with them, and sort of taking a back seat, and it's probably easier as a videographer as well, because our style is more natural and not so, we're not forcing them to do certain things and necessarily getting to pose in ways. We're more trying to convey the emotion of the day and get them when they're smiling and happy and try and get that in a natural possible way. So, I think that's really important. And same with other, event videography as well, sometimes being a fly on the wall and taking a back seat, not always, being front and center and let the event take its course. And
as you were saying as well, you've been to weddings where you've watched them from behind. So we always have to be aware that when we do film events, there are eyes watching us. So the jobs that we put forward, like if we're not overbearing, we work well with the client or the bride and groom, or whatever event it is, we have eyes behind us watching us. So the better job that we do on the day, the more likely that we will have more work that will come our way from clients who are getting married. Might be an event in like a corporate landscape where there might be an owner of a business, in the room who wants work done. And if we don't do the right job in their eyes, we won't be getting work coming our way. So
but something I admire about you guys, and I'm a marketing nerd, so I watch what people do, and I really love what you do, because the work that you've done speaks for itself. And I think I've told you that a number of times. where you've been able to land clients like the NBL, like Fight MND, and I think it comes down to what you just said there, is when you go out on site to whatever job, you're just putting in 100%. But I mean, would you sort of agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we do the job. At the end of the day, that's what they want, and we get that done. But we also have fun while working. I think, working with clients and, in the industry that we work in as well, there are heaps of other people buying cameras and new drones and whatnot. So, as soon as you do something bad, they'll flick you off and get someone new in. So
everyone can call
making sure the client's having a good time while we're having a good time as well. I think the output, it does improve when we're more relaxed as well. So
you found that over time as well?
Absolutely. I think when we sort of go into a job feeling more relaxed and more prepped in terms of what we're filming, we can sort of go on there and have fun ourselves. And you look back through the footage and it just shows that instead of worrying about all the externals, you're worrying about what you're filming, and that only comes with experience, I suppose. But doing right by the client, I don't know.
Very cool. Very cool. So I'd love to touch on your work that you've done with Basketball Australia. If possible. Just again, another broad question, but I'll get deeper. How has that experience been? And
incredible, absolutely incredible. I mean, I think from a young age, I always wanted to work in a sport industry, and now combining two of my favourite things, filming and sport, it really has been a dream. And the opportunities we've had from working for Basketball Australia have just been incredible, and probably something that we didn't expect we'd land so early on in our careers. But really grateful that we've had that opportunity to we did some filming at the USA Basketball versus Australia
when they came over here.
Where they came over, and we had I think it was our first win against them ever, and that was the USA's first loss in 8 years or something, and it was a nail biter, and we were sort of courtside for that, and those are the moments where you look at each other and go, it's all worth it. And but also, when I was at uni, I studied media and communications, and I did a major in journalism, and being able to work for Basketball Australia, I've had opportunities to conduct my own interviews, and so more down the path of what I actually studied at university.
Fantastic.
with the journalism. So, having those opportunities, and I think we were at an event for them about a month ago, and I got to interview the president of FIBA.
Wow.
So it was a nerve-wracking experience, but one that you look after and you sort of pinch yourself and go, it's just something that I wouldn't have been able to do without that opportunity.
Yeah, it's amazing, and then to use what you've learned. A lot of people get out of uni and don't use it, but for you to be on it, it's awesome.
Yeah,
very cool, very cool. And Louis, same question for you. How's that experience? I mean, being courtside to an Australian win.
It was amazing. I think, as you probably know, all the listeners, the game prior to the first game, because I played two at Marvel Stadium. The first game, everyone was sort of upset with on level one seating. A few people were lining up, had some heads in the way, so there was a
hard challenge.
Backlash on the media, or backlash from the media about that first game was huge. So when game two rolled around, the people were sort of more aware of what the seating arrangement was. But being there for that win, for the first win from Australia against USA on home soil, but being with players who, for about half a year leading up to it, we got to interview, got to meet them at trainings. You sort of you get to meet these people, what they are, not necessarily work on the court, but the work off the court. So, it was amazing. Great experience. Basketball Australia had heaps of different sort of roles in the not only sport, but off the court as well, in terms of what they do to help engage
community engagement
and whatnot. So the work always was different, which kept it exciting. We went up to the Gold Coast a few times to do some work with BA, just for some camps and whatnot up there, and through Victoria, did some interviews with the Boomers as well, and getting to meet them, but doing jobs following up, and them walking up and saying, "Oh, hey boys, how you going?" It was a great experience.
Yeah, and you get to know them on a personal level, not just the persona that they bring about. Well, a photo that I love on your Instagram, I was just flicking through it before I got here, is one of the female basketball players has got the mic, and you Jenks, is it's a bit of fun.
Taylor George,
she loves the camera.
Yeah.
If you go through her Instagram, like, you probably agree with that. But good work with players, and especially with the Opals, the girls national team, they're amazing. They, whenever we did work with them, they they went out of their way to sort of make us feel more engaged, and they were asking us questions as well as us asking them, which was amazing. So being up there for a week on the Gold Coast with the Opals,
and just
a huge experience. So
even seeing the professional environment like that, and how they train, and what they eat, and all those things that you don't have access to that otherwise. And just little things like that are what makes the experience so incredible. And the access we got from them was second to none.
That's fantastic. I'd love to talk a little bit about the editing process, because this is the thing that people don't understand. That takes the time, and this is where you get the polished product, because technology is so good, because cameras are great. We can get the hobbyist who do an okay job on their camera, but don't actually understand. I mean, the length. It probably took us 30 minutes to set this up just now, and you'd already set up the lights and everything. So I'd probably say an hour, but that's not even editing. The editing is where it takes the time. So how have you guys found that process, and how do you divvy it up between the two?
We actually, I think with the workload, we do it as one. So we work together, we edit together, we film together.
Because you've got two computers in the office where it's
So I think at the start with the program, I've used Max for a couple of years. I think Michael has as well. So the software, it's only on Max based.
Yeah.
So the iMovie was the first program that's free on Max.
Everyone uses
our new program, the upgrade. It was quite the same, but obviously it had a lot more things you could do with videos in terms of how it looks and audio and whatnot too. So I think the first couple of months obviously it takes time to learn the software, learn the layout of the program as well, which does take a bit of time. But with each job, again, it varies depending on what you're doing. You might have to import a lot more media. You might have to sync audios up as well, which does take a bit of time.
Yep, I know that all too well.
You'd be all over that. But, with every job, it becomes easier and easier.
Yeah.
I think we feed off each other as well. And the ideas we bounce off. And we did an online course as well for the software.
Yeah,
always a good idea.
Yeah,
just to learn a bit more about it and what it can do. And,
how to use it more effectively as well, because you can know how to use everything, but the computer shortcut, or the keyboard shortcuts and stuff like that, that's where you can save yourself a lot of time with editing. So just little things like that you wouldn't even think of normally. But the editing process is something that people definitely underestimate in general, because it's you've got to import footage, you've got to sort through footage, sync audio like you said, color grade. Sometimes you've got 3 or 4 different layers putting on top of each other, and you've got to sort between those, and then exporting as well. So there's a lot of things that, and even like if you're doing an interview with someone and they might have said something wrong, and you want to blend the two pieces of audio together to make a seamless transition. Things like that can take a long, long time, and
because the cuts in between, and it's millimeters that you're working with.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that people definitely can underestimate the editing time, but I mean, not every job does. It depends on what you're doing as well.
Correct.
And working with audio always adds another dimension to it. Yeah.
I mean, I've found myself like even early days when I just chucked a Zoom recorder on the table, and then you'd have someone tapping the table and moving it around, and that'll create interference. And the software that I was using at the time didn't have the ability to actually change any of that stuff around.
Yeah.
And, then you try and lower it, so you cut out that section and then you lower it, and it's maybe like something this tiny.
Yeah, you do that, you can sort of hear the background goes and come in. That's where it's sort of like hard to do, because you might like interview someone, they might say one word that doesn't sound right or whatever, or they said it incorrectly, and then you have to go through their entire interview and find that same word, and then try to to blend it in and transition it in to make it sound as if it's just all one take. So that's,
and this is the important stuff.
Together.
This is the important stuff. Have you ever rendered something and figured out that it's wrong? So you render it, and then I do it all the time with subtitles. I forget to burn the subtitles in.
Oh yeah,
and then I render this. I render this fucking. Oops. What? Oh, I don't care about swearing on the show, but it's sometimes because then you got to change in the settings.
Yeah.
Well. So
I think it's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Just
there we go.
Drop to one side, they're not even there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Say the F word if you want.
So you burning captions or forget to, and then it's a 10-minute video that's taken 40 minutes to render because I was using my laptop and.
Yeah, I remember
certainly done that.
Yeah, I remember there's one job where I burnt it once and exported it and realised I hadn't put in the captions or the subtitles. I redid it thinking the subtitles were in the next time. Again, didn't put them in. I think the third time I did it again, and because I thought it was one button I had to push. I've done previously, and it just didn't come in. And I asked Michael, and I was like, "Yeah, it's just that button."
Once you make the mistake a few times, you don't make it again.
Yep, I made
it one time. Ever since then, subtitles.
Especially if it's like, you know, a really lengthy video with a lot of different layers and it takes quite a while to export, and you've done that. And especially if you're speaking to a client and, you know, they're expecting it the next half an hour, and then all of a sudden you go, well, hold on, you know.
There's some complications.
Yeah, exactly. So, it does happen from time to time.
Yeah.
It does, yeah.
You got to almost put yourself in the mind of a doctor. Like a doctor walks into a surgery and says there was some complications with the surgery. People go, "Oh, okay, fair enough, that's happened." So why can't it happen with video?
Yeah.
That's that from now on.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
But, here's the final product.
Product. Yeah. We worked really hard. We did. Something I want to touch on, which I've started doing a bit of learning into. I've actually bought an online course to learn a bit more as well, is lighting and how important lighting is. I mean, we probably can't see it on camera, but we've got two main lights and then the ones above. But what did you learn through your degree or through this process of 3 years about the importance of lighting and how to set good lighting up?
Well, I think, you know, we don't actually use artificial lighting a heap.
Okay.
You know, we try and use natural lighting as much as we possibly can. And then manipulating your angles based on where the light source is coming from. You know, if you're filming outside, of course, it's the sun, and even inside, you know, the sun coming through the windows, you know, the windows often act as a bit of a diffuser. So we, you know, where we can, we try and use natural light as much as we can. And for example, in this room right now, the reason we're not is because we're filming from both sides. And otherwise, if we were just recording you, and I don't know if the camera will see, but there's a window out here, we probably would have just used the natural light coming in. So lighting it's definitely very important, but it's more you know, I think people often worry and say, I need to buy lights and I need to have lighting set up. So it's more just understanding the way the sun works and the way you can bounce light off certain objects and stuff. Okay. And also a lot of it's just playing around with things, you know, putting the camera in, looking at how it looks and go, okay, no.
Look on the camera.
Yeah, look on the camera, go, okay, it looks okay, but, you know, I'd like a bit more contrast or whatever it is. And you can, you know, whether that's playing around with the camera settings or actually physically moving the camera to another angle to, you know, have the light coming from a different direction. So I think, you know, you certainly look at that more than necessarily using artificial lights. But when you're using artificial lights, you know, like today we've got the lights are widely spread. They're not too, they're not harsh. They're quite, and you know, we're not going for a really distinct look. You know, where sometimes you might have one side of the face lit and the other not, but we're going for a more broader sort of look today. Keeping it casual. We're not trying to, you know, convey a certain mood, a dramatic sort of Hollywood thrill, if you like. So
which we can do.
Yeah, we can.
We'll turn this into a
set the mood for a movie.
Do some crime research and do a real crime thriller.
Yeah, that's it.
Just on that as well, I think you know, it's good having lighting, but doing research behind it is the most important thing, because you can have the most expensive light, but you know, not knowing where it goes or how you can sort of light your, you know, whoever's being filmed up, your subject, it can just be like a waste of money.
Yeah.
So doing research, we again, the online course had a little area about lighting and also audio as well. But yeah, lighting, I think we both learned a lot on that online course, which was
and on the job too, like
too. And even at home, just a day that we have free, bring the lights in here, bring the cameras in, and to see what angles look good. And it's but it does change depending on what job is, and
definitely
the environment obviously is all dependent.
I reckon the biggest mistake that people do is, for example, if we had the window behind us open, filming directly, so if the subject's
to the window,
because the light source outside is much different to what's inside. So especially if you're using an automatic camera, the camera will naturally expose for the greater light source, which will be outside, which will in turn make the subject quite dark, and that's why you'd often flip it around so that the person's behind a darker sort of background, and then you can control the light more. Because the camera can only read a certain amount of light, unless you have a $100,000 camera. It's very hard. So that's where the whole sort of manipulation of angles and even the settings on the camera comes into it a bit more. Yeah,
and I was going to ask, I mean, is it just because it is different for depending on the location, but is there a good rule of thumb to follow when it comes to lighting? And you basically did just say one there, but is there any other ones that?
Well, I just think that the importance of playing around, like I did say, but I just literally moving the camera around until you see, and this is more for, I mean, we're going to have a slightly different approach to it, a more calculated approach, but people that are doing it on the fly and maybe don't have the time to do these courses and stuff, I just think that moving the camera around and looking and say, okay, this just visually looks better. It just looks more appealing. And it doesn't have to be so scientific. You can just be playing around with it until something looks better. And, you've also, I suppose you're looking at what's in the background as well. You want the background to sometimes be interesting. So there's... I
think what you're touching on there is because filming is both a science and an art. And I think what you're touching on here is more the art of it. Of moving your camera around. I mean, I was on a shoot yesterday where I did the same thing. I looked through the camera. I was like, oh, okay, well, there's a window over here that's causing bad light to come in. So can you just shut that? Because we've got good enough natural light in this boardroom. Boardrooms are pretty well lit, unless it's an evil company that want people to just come in and work 9 to 5 and not lead or do anything they want to. Demand you in the boardroom. Usually they're well lit. I said that. Like that thing. I was like, okay, well, let's just close those blinds and then look through the lens and look through the thing and see if it's right. The first ever show I did, I made that mistake where I shot out a window. And it was very overexposed. Behind the thing.
Well, I think from doing that as well, like. You make that one mistake, but the next time you film, you won't make the same mistake. So I think the thing in our industry, and with all industries actually for that matter, is you learn by by making mistakes, and you build on that. So making sure the lighting it's a huge part as well. Part of filming and the way in which you want to the content with the mood of it, whatever. Making sure the lighting is synced and it's perfect, and that will allow the output to look a lot more better than what it would be.
Yeah, definitely. So you just said mistakes. You learn from mistakes. Like yesterday, for example, I called Michael in a tiz. I did a shoot, and I was trying to. The Zoom recorder, which was the audio recording, I plugged it into my laptop and the file wasn't showing up. I was also looking through it and it also had movie files on this same SD card. So then I started Googling do things format, and then some cowboy warrior had said you need the right formatting. So then I called Michael. I was like, all right, well, this is the problem. He calmed me down. He said look, maybe a more powerful computer will read it. And luckily I went home and the audio was there. Audio was there.
Thank God,
Thank God. But what that's taught me is we've also got lav mics plugged into Zoom H1 as a backup audio. So the importance of having backups. Touch on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, audio is so important in video, and I think people really underestimate the importance of it. You could even in this podcast, if you want to, we can turn off the mic for a second and play the audio off the camera, and you can listen to how different it is. And I often see people using or having ads on social media where they're just using the audio from a camera and it's just from the camera. And for me, it's
It sounds horrible.
And you want it makes
funny.
you want
sorry.
No, I just you don't take it as seriously.
Yeah.
Like when you hear that, you go, oh well, they haven't invested the money into this. They haven't got a professional to do what they're doing on the fly, and that automatically cheapens their brand, in my opinion. I mean, maybe that's on because I'm in the industry and
I totally agree. For the first 10, 15 episodes, they were just podcasts that I was doing for fun. And when I was chopping up the snippets, instead of syncing the audio, I just whacked the camera file in there. Because I was, again, I'm more marketing than I am video production. So I was just like, all right, let's just pump out content as quick as possible.
Yeah.
But then I realized as soon as somebody, they called me up and they said, I need some content. I'd love a podcast. And if you could chop it up. As soon as someone paid me to then do content for them in an interview format, I then went to the effort to sync the audio and saw the difference immediately. And was like, wow, okay, I need to start doing this for my stuff now as well. And buy gear and so that's led me to over December, January, I've invested probably $3 grand in stuff.
Yeah. We're doing that as well because with audio, you assume it's okay when you film on a phone and you import the audio from your phone or whatever it is, or the camera for that matter.
And technology does a good job, but it's just not.
But even sometimes it can go the other way. You import that media into your software, and I know with our audio, you can sort of do things with the audio to make it sound like the background noise is a bit flushed out of it, but sometimes it just does it automatically without you knowing. So the audio can sound even worse.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, but again, buying audio equipment, you learn a lot about it, and then you start to sort of realize what you're listening for.
Yeah.
It's not what's being said in the interview or video or whatever it is, but just how it sounds. And as Michael said, the product can go from here to here, and then new clientele are looking at that greater product and will invest in your product and your services.
Yeah, because you know the equipment.
To the other person who's just using the inboard camera with the audio source. So
I reckon it's a slightly subconscious thing as well. Like you don't really always notice great audio. You just look at the video and go, oh, that's a really cool video. And people don't take that extra step to think maybe it's because the audio is really good. But when the audio is really bad and it sounds like it's filmed off a 1990s webcam, people straight away go, no, they don't want anything to do with it. So I think good audio goes unnoticed, but that's the way it should be. It should be clean, and people aren't thinking about it. It's just it's a subconscious thing.
Yeah. It's subconscious, but almost conscious at the same time, because people don't realize that that's why they don't like the video. But it's audio is one of the most important things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's honestly half of video. I mean, unless you're doing a video with no audio, of course, and you've got music over it. But
good old Charlie Chaplin silence.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I think any like interview style thing, or whether there's a voiceover or anything like that, or a piece to camera, the audio is at least 50% of it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I want to touch back more on the learning and in detail you get of clients, and I guess the emotional change in a way that you can go through learning more about the client. Is you work with MND, the Fight MND, Neil Danaher's charity. Again, broad question, but let's dive into that experience.
Working with them, or
same as the basketball. Like, how was that experience? And then it's a two-pronged thing. What have you learned about the disease MND through just filming? That you didn't maybe know before.
Yeah, well, we've been working with them now for about half a year or so. So we actually got the job originally doing work over in Perth in the mine sites.
Wow.
Working with Luke Danaher, who's the son of Neil. We being over there and having a chat with him as well, because his younger brother plays for Blackburn for footy. So
perfect.
We live in Blackburn too. So had a chat with him. He normally does their events. So living in Perth, and I think he has a brand new child as well. So just finding it hard to get home and do the video content. He loves his drones. But so there was a job in Melbourne that popped up. Luke then called the organisation, Fight MND, recommended us. So, but again, like now looking back on that, that's because we did a good job over in Perth in the mine. So, but the organisation, I mean, it's been great working with them. I think with the MND, the disease itself, I didn't know a lot about it, even though you hear about it on TV all the time, and obviously during winter, during the new season with Neil and what he's done with the big freeze and whatnot, and the awareness that he's built around that. You actually learn a lot about the disease, but working with them, going to jobs where you see people who are affected by it and learning how quick it can actually affect someone. I think the average life expectancy of someone with MND, is 2 years.
Wow.
So they can be fit as a fiddle, can have not smoked their entire life, not drunk. If you're just an unlucky person that gets picked out of a crowd, in the average is 2 years, so it's that quick. But working alongside of them, seeing the amount of research that is being poured into, and the amount of with the community as well, throwing money and donating towards such a great cause as well, and great people behind it too. So it's been a good experience.
Yeah,
well done. Well done.
Yeah,
we're doing the big freeze this upcoming footy season. They've asked us to come and film that at the MCG too. So
mad.
Yeah,
good experience.
Good experience again.
Videoed sport, but for the overall cause of to find a cure for a disease that doesn't have a cure currently.
And we were talking off camera, like the impact of your work, then going on and helping people raise funds and money and bringing more awareness. That must be a powerful thing.
Seeing the output and seeing the amount of money that people donate based on videos that we've done and put together. I mean, I can probably speak for both of us. It's huge. Yeah, it does mean a lot, and like we do see change in the updates of them in the research lab finding cures, finding all these breakthroughs as well to help people, all based on videos that we've prepared and done and filmed and edited and put together. It's huge.
Is it cool seeing your project then blasted on their social media channels and their maybe like TV stuff and promos and all that? Is that a really cool?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's I think we did a video recently where they it was on a lady who's MND, and she's only in her early 30s, and I think they'd raised over $50,000 or $60,000 from the video we did for them alone. And it's more just your work is really helping and making a difference, and all the people that work there are just such genuine, nice, kind people, and it's definitely, I would say, probably some of the most rewarding work we've done, because we're making a change, even though it's only small in the scheme of things, but you're contributing towards the cause, or finding a cure for the cause, I should say. And I think that's, it would have to be probably the most rewarding work we've done, just about. And the team that we work with there are all just, brilliant people. Are all like-minded. They're all really driven to tackle this, and it's definitely very rewarding.
Very cool. Awesome. I think that's a really cool spot to end it. But I've got two more questions off the back of it. One, look, we're filming this very early January 2020. So what's up next for you guys? And heading into this year, what are you moving into?
Well, we have a few events coming up, a few corporate gigs as well. We have a wedding next weekend.
Probably should know that.
Next weekend there's a wedding. So this time of year, during the warmer months, there are a lot more events and weddings outdoorsies.
English.
I think we have to sort of wait for everyone else to sort of get back into their work, routines and stuff. Obviously, people are away at the moment with friends and school holidays too. So I think the work will start coming in the next month or two. But a few jobs coming up.
Yep.
I think we got a job next week with a financial construction and advisory group that work in the city. So they sort of give advice to these big building companies out in the west. I think there's a new development out in Tarneet actually.
Oh, wow.
So going out there to film.
It's down my way.
Yeah, that's it.
Drone up, film all these big lots of lands. Yeah, all these houses and housing estates will be in a couple of years.
Yeah.
So it should be cool.
Yeah,
cool. And look, if someone's heard anything on this show, they want to reach out to you guys, book a job, or even just see more of your content. You've got some really impressive footage that's throughout your socials. But yeah, if anyone wants to get in contact with you, how do they do that?
Well, I mean, maybe I should look down the barrel for this one. No, but on our we've got a Instagram page, which is Bergs Productions.
Yep, BERGS.
Yep, Productions, or www.bergsproductions.com. That's probably the best way. And then on that, it's actually got a link to a lot of our work. And we do quite a diverse range of work as well. And so you can see all that on the website, and there's a link to our YouTube channel there, and it's got our email and contact details. So
you can then go and contact us directly via the website.
Yes, I'd probably say that'd be the best way, or maybe just speak directly to you.
Speak to me, speak to me, and I'll flick the details on.
I actually think that is probably on another note, that's probably how we get most of our work, through word of mouth. I mean, we certainly get inquiries through our website, but going back to what I was saying earlier, establishing relationships with people, and then people are more likely to flick your details on, and that's certainly how we would get a majority of our work, really. From word of mouth. So
definitely.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll put all that in the description. I'll chuck your website.
Beautiful.
And everything. But
awesome.
Cool.
Thanks for having us.
No worries. I've been Tim, you've been Michael and Louis, and we've been talking.
Watching you. So done a great job getting all these people on your podcast, as well as videos on Facebook and whatnot too.
Yeah.
Engaging.
Yeah. Thank you.
Them, so
absolutely love it.
Yeah. We'll keep going.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Cool.
That's it.
All right, mate.
Cheers.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Cheers. Thanks, buddy.